Hello everybody, and welcome to the second season of On Screen. I'm your host Dylan Wright, and I'm here to take you on a journey through film and television. Boy, it's been a long break, but I'm back. I'm ready to talk about movies and TV with you guys, and I'm really excited to see what this semester and this new season of On Screen has in store. It's been a pretty busy couple of months. The Oscar nominations came out, a lot of really awesome movies were in the theaters. A lot of really bad movies were in the theaters. But 2016 as a whole was just a whirlwind of good and bad, of laughter, of tears. But we're in 2017. It's a new year, a new season of On Screen. And we're going to start off with everybody's favorite thing about movies, the trailers. They're sometimes our favorite things to see, and sometimes we just go right to the movie because we don't want to sit through these crappy horror trailers. But a lot of times they're there to pique the interest of the audience, to try and get them excited about a new movie to come back to. Sometimes trailers are really well done. They give you just enough to whet your appetite and then leave you wanting more. And then some trailers decide, okay, we're just going to tell you the whole story, and you guys could just watch the trailer and know what our movie's about. One of those trailers is definitely the Batman v Superman trailer, where they basically showed you everything that was going to happen. Batman and Superman were going to fight, then Doomsday was going to come in, then Wonder Woman was going to come in with them, and it was just a whole mess. I mean, the movie itself is it definitely makes my worst of 2016 list. I've never been so disappointed in a movie. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is, the trailer kind of failed the movie to begin with, in that it told way too much to the audience before the movie was even released. It left nothing to the imagination. There wasn't really anything that surprised people within the movie besides the 1.5 million subplots that had to be in a Batman and Superman movie, like a congressional hearing. I don't know. I guess Zack Snyder wanted to be like George Lucas and put in trade dispute stuff or whatever. But anyways, the trailer for Batman v Superman failed the movie. A trailer that didn't fail the movie that it was promoting was the Force Awakens trailer. It showed you different little bits and pieces of the movie, never giving you what's going on in the movie, just little snippets and little just whispers of what could be happening. And just like that glorious shot of Han and Chewie walking into the Falcon and Han Solo going, "Chewie, we're home." And just every fanboy and fangirl in the world just squealing with delight because Han Solo and Chewbacca are back in the Millennium Falcon and back for a new generation of Star Wars fans. And it was a trailer that left the audience wanting so much more, and it allowed the imagination and the theories to kick in. Okay, well, what does this scene mean? Where does this fit in? Who is this character? How is this going to be important to the movie? And it allowed this hype to build before the movie was released. It didn't give away everything, and it just built up anticipation and expectation to the point where it made the movie exciting to see because you didn't see most of the movie at the beginning. And then there's the trailers that straight out lie to you about what the movie's about, like the recent release, Collateral Beauty. Now, if you haven't seen Collateral Beauty, I'm going to spoil it for you a little bit. But if you've seen the trailers, you would think that the movie is about a man who runs a business, played by Will Smith, who recently lost his daughter. She died, basically. And he had been writing letters to death, time, and love, the concepts of death, time, and love. And apparently death, time, and love personify and come speak to him. And they also interact with his coworkers, and their lives are changed forever. But that's not actually what the movie's about. They do get the part that Will Smith's daughter died, and he is grieving, and is having a hard time getting over his young daughter dying, as many people are wont to do. And his coworkers decide, you know what, you've been grieving for too long. We're going to hire a private investigator. We're going to take your mail, and we see that you're writing letters to death, time, and love. We're going to hire actors to play death, time, and love, have them interact with you, have the private investigator tail you and videotape you interacting with these actors, Photoshop the actors out of the frame so it looks like you're talking to nothing, and then show it to the board of trustees so that we can get you fired, so that we can get on with our lives and do our jobs correctly so that you could just get out. Like, that's a horrible thing to do to a coworker, for one. But another thing, you go into this movie thinking that this is going to be this uplifting, like, journey about this father dealing with the death of his daughter and his friends kind of helping him along the way. But it's actually just this really callous and kind of cruel movie. And it really doesn't end with the coworkers getting, their just desserts for being this horrible to their boss. They kind of just get a slap on the wrist and be like, oh, it's okay. I understand what you were doing. They literally committed mail fraud and then tried to frame this dude that he was crazy. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the trailer lying about what the movie was about, not being honest with the audience about what the movie was supposed to be doing. And that's also not what you want to do with the trailer. You want to make sure that the audience knows what they're going into, or else they're not going to be really great when it comes to giving your movie a good review or being positive after seeing the movie that you lied about. The best trailers are the ones that capture your imagination, that really leave you wanting to see the full movie. You want to know more. You know just enough to go in knowing what it kind of is about, but not enough that you're like, okay, well, I know that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. A lot of problems with comedy movies are that they put the best moments in the trailer. They don't leave anything that is hilarious in the actual movie without putting it in the trailer to grab people and get their attention. Because people are like, oh, well, that was funny when I saw it the first time before the screening of Brother Bear, but now it's not because I've already seen it. It's lost all of its luster. It's usually tough for comedy films to put together a really good trailer because you're either going to have to sacrifice a lot of funny bits or you're going to have to just film stuff that isn't even going to make it into the final film. But whatever you decide to do, you ultimately kind of have to sacrifice something in order to get the audiences to come to the theaters. And the craziest thing out of all this is a good trailer does not necessarily mean a good film, and a bad trailer doesn't necessarily mean a bad film. You could have a trailer that hits all of the right moments, like it's bam, 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 oh my god, that's awesome, look at that, wow, holy crap. And then the film is just, oh Jesus, this is terrible, this is horrible, what did I pay money to see? And then you could have a trailer that's like, I am bored out of my mind, what am I doing here, I'm not seeing this movie at all. And then you later find out down the road it was one of the best movies of the year, Star Trek Beyond. But the trailer isn't necessarily a harbinger of what's to come. And that's kind of what I like about the gamble you make when you go to the movies. You don't know if you're going to go in seeing a good movie or a bad movie. I mean, you could read reviews. You could, watch all the trailers you want. You could listen to your friends. But the only person that's ultimately going to decide whether a movie is good or bad is you. You can't base your opinion off of somebody else's. You have to just see the movie and discover it yourself. So now it's time for my Netflix pick of the week. And this week it's going to be an original series that just came out on Netflix, and I'm so glad that they finally decided to make a good adaptation of this. And it's a series of unfortunate events. It tells the story of the Baudelaire orphans as they go through a series of unfortunate events. Their parents perish in a fire, and they're sent to live with the nefarious Count Olaf, who wants their fortune, and they have to kind of outsmart him and just get past the stupid adults that they deal with in their everyday life. And it's a really clever series based off the book series by Lemony Snicket, which is Daniel Handler's pen name. And it's a series that I've always loved as a kid, the book series. And they made a movie adaptation of it that was pretty weak. Jim Carrey starred as Count Olaf in it. But the problem was he was just a little too ham, a little too out there for this nefarious and dark character. And Neil Patrick Harris plays him in this one a little tamer, a little more grounded, but in a different take that I think ultimately serves the character better than Jim Carrey's version of it. It's very Burton-esque, the series. It's really dark and gloomy, but there's also some really bright color palettes at times. And it's really funny at times. There's some really good English grammar humor, some pretty smart cultural references, and having Patrick Warburton as the narrator was a stroke of genius because that man's voice is amazingly deadpan and so iconic that having anybody else just kind of falls flat. So if you have a chance, definitely check out Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events. So that's all the time I have for my first episode back on the second season of On Screen. If you guys have any suggestions for any future topics for the show for season 2, please email them to me, dwight@m.marywood.edu. You could leave them in comments below, and just let me know what you guys would like to hear. I would love to cover anything that you guys want me to. So until next time, take care.